If you take a look behind me, you can see some of the markings that are still on the roadway, some of the orange ones there. And if we walk closer to the corner of Capitol Circle Northeast and Care Drive, you can see a few more of the orange markings out in the roadway. It's very simple to give blood. As long as you are 17 years old and 110 pounds and in good health, you can give blood. But children do not have to go it alone. FDLE says that parents can and should step in, and they have this handy safety tip sheet to help. The woman's name and condition are also being withheld, as are details like where on her body she was shot, how many times, and how many people may be involved with this crime. Well, Trendy Tuesday is back once again this week with a look at the casual duds for the men right now. Local survivor speaks out about tough times after life as she knew it in the Big Easy changed forever. Police say they are close to making an arrest and a shooting death at a local store. The Labor Department has this at 8.6% for Florida for the unemployment rate. There's only about a dozen or so states that are higher. So how can we bring more jobs to the area and get more people back to work? Many are also wondering if law enforcement in our area are prepared to take action should something like this or even remotely close happen here. And joining us now live is Captain Jim Corder with the Gadsden County Sheriff's Office. Thank you, first of all, for being here, and I hope that everybody, as you're sitting there at home, you take a moment to kiss your children and give them an extra hug, because a day like today really makes me stutter, makes me think of my kids at home. How is it that the Sheriff's Office prepares? What do you do on a day like today? An 18-year-old man was arrested for allegedly giving wedgies to people outside of a movie theater in Bradenton, Florida. Well, I think a great way to make learning fun would be to get outside when you can,
especially on a day like today, right? Field trip, anyone?
Well, Jason Kahn is here for sports and fan days coming up.
Hey, Eyewitness News reporter Angela Howard is outside the WCTV studios aboard the Bloodmobile with a look at the drive. Angie?
Well, Shonda, there was actually quite a rush right before we got on camera now. You can see it's empty, but it's super easy to give blood, and it definitely helps the millions of Americans who need blood every year. Now, all you have to do is you fill out this form on a clipboard. It asks you a slew of different questions. Then they will they'll prick your finger, they will test your iron, they will check your blood pressure, they'll also check your cholesterol. Now, once you are cleared to go, they will set you up in one of these handy-dandy, luxurious seats right here. And they have enough so that you can have somebody on both sides. They will get you comfortable. They'll make sure you're all set. Then just a little prick and you will be good to go. That blood, it only takes about 10 minutes to get from your arm into the bag, and then they will take that pint and they will use that to help hopefully up to 3 people with each pint of blood. That they have been doing wonderfully today, starting at about 11 o'clock. They're going until about 6 o'clock tonight. The goal is to get as many people as possible out here. So if you are at home watching, put down whatever you're doing, get in the car, drive to 1801 Halstead Boulevard. That's where we're located. You will see the Bloodmobile out in the front of the station. All you have to do is hop on board and you're good to go. Shonda, we'll talk to you again at 5:30. Children still in diapers are often able to maneuver their way through the internet with relative ease, but their ignorance about the dangers lurking a mouse click away make it much more important for adults everywhere to keep a watchful eye to maintain their cyber security.
In his dimly lit office, Chad Hoffman browses the chat rooms, but he's not looking for love. He's on the hunt for child predators.
So this is a good example. It says he's 28. Next line, I tell him how old I am and where I'm at. And then 3 or 4 lines down, he asked me for pics. So this guy might be a candidate at some point in time.
Hoffman is one of 48 Florida Department of Law Enforcement agents around the state who works in Internet Crimes Against Children, or ICAC. This national unit was started with 10 task forces back in 1998. Now there are 61, all of them federally funded. Each day, these grown men log into their computers and take on the persona of a teenage girl.
It's not a job for everybody. It's a job for those that are interested in the area and enjoy what they do.
These guys have seen a lot in their careers, and so psychologically they have prepared themselves. We're kids, they're innocents. We don't want that to be, harmed.
And that is why they spend copious hours surfing the web, chatting with would-be predators.
Sometimes, we'll take over the child's identity online, and we'll work it from there. That way we're kind of stopping a real live child from being harmed or exploited.
Once an ICAC team has enough evidence, they set up a sting and lure the perps in. It's a long process, but their diligence shows, with arrests in Florida in 2011, more than tripling that of the year before. After their arrest, some of the suspects are tried in the state system, while others have their case tried in federal court.
When they bring us cases, the state attorney looks at them, we look at them, and together we decide which ones should be prosecuted federally versus by the state attorney's offices.
Either way, Marsh says those convicted could spend 10 to 40 years behind bars. And while the arrest numbers are up, Marsh doesn't believe the problem will go away anytime soon.
Child predators have been around for a long time, even before the internet, and I think they'll stay out there and continue doing what they're doing.
Which means parents, prosecutors, and law enforcement all need to stay vigilant to help keep children safe.
I don't think we need to be the internet Gestapo, but you know, it's good to stay on top of where your children are going, because there are predators out there.
There is lots of information available to help keep children safe online. For a list of ways and accompanying links, just head to our website, WCTV.tv, and click on this story. Live in the studio, Angela Howard, WCTV Eyewitness News. From the bush to the vine to the ground, you can find produce all over, but how many of us actually take the time to grow it ourselves or buy it fresh from the farm? For one Tallahassee woman, growing, preparing, and eating fresh organic foods isn't something done just on occasion. It's a way of life. It's not uncommon for someone to wash, chop, and cook carrots at home. But growing them too is a whole other story. While most people visit the produce section of the grocery store for their fruits and veggies, Stephanie Brandt Corneas grows them herself.
Pull some of these carrots and see if they're ready.
In her backyard garden, this wife and working mom fosters everything from tomatoes and peppers to parsley and basil. Anything she can't grow herself is purchased from local farms, at the weekly farmers market, or from local co-ops that carry natural organic products.
Food is very important to me, and I think that the quality of food that we eat and what we put into our bodies directly correlate to our health level.
So Stephanie makes the time to visit the market and select her items from organic growers like Turkey Hill Farm, or drive out to Assisa to pick her own berries at Blueberry Springs. And she makes as much as she can from scratch, including jams, smoothies, soups, and stocks, and stores them in the freezer.
Is there anything that just really grosses you out?
Using the heads and the chicken feet for the chicken stock.
And as you may have guessed, she gets her poultry and her red meat from local farms too.
It's not the norm right now. What I'm doing was normal 50 years ago, and that's kind of what I like to think of. What I'm doing in my kitchen is what my great-grandmother did.
Some of her natural ways save Stephanie and her family money, like buying a quarter cow through the butcher. But overall, fresh organic foods do cost more.
The milk that I buy, it's full double. It's you know, 100% more expensive.
And preparing them takes time too.
It's definitely more time than throwing in a frozen pizza, that's for sure.
Now, Stephanie says it's not for everybody. Eating real, fresh food is a lot of work every day, something even she veers from now and then. She says she lives by the 80-20 rule, allowing herself leeway to relax and enjoy a cookie and a glass of wine or two.